broadcasting. Yards, touchdowns, shut your mouth broadcasting. First round draft pick, believe we got stats, kid. Quarterback stacking, 100-yard dashing. So tap in for the action. What teams got traction?
Welcome to the Sim Podcast Show, The Aftermath. I'm your co-host, Sarek, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on, man?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs, and we just had the Super Bowl yesterday. And Ron, I don't want to say that I'm disappointed, but the team that I wanted to win did not win yesterday.
Yeah, listen, I didn't have a horse in this race. I could care less who won. I know why you don't or you didn't want Kansas City to win. I think you're a little nervous about Mahomes and his greatness and whether or not he's the GOAT.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. I'm not.
That's what you're worried about. That's what it comes down to. You don't want him catching Brady's record.
Blowing it up. I'm not nervous. You think Mahomes is going to get to 7 Super Bowls? Come on now.
No. I don't think he'll. I think he'll get to a couple more, not 7, not 7 total.
I give him maybe 5, but not 7.
Right. But either way, can you admit that's the reason you were hoping that he loses, right?
Oh yeah, the thing is that, during the week before the Super Bowl, everyone was saying like, oh, he's going to pass the baton. And there was actually, we saw a graphic of like Tom Brady passing the baton to Pat Mahomes. And I was like, no, he's not there yet. It's going to be a while. So pump the brakes.
Needs to have the baton, right? It's him, if not anybody. I don't think they're saying he's as good as Brady. They're just saying he's the next one up. Someone is next, right? Just like when Jordan left, he passed the baton to, who was it? Was it Kobe, I guess? And Kobe to LeBron. That's just how it goes, right? There's always the next big thing. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah, but
Mahomes is better at this point. Obviously, I don't think he is, but.
I think there was a couple of years, maybe like 5 years, when Kobe. I think Kobe got drafted in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was already retired by 1999. So, I mean, we're talking about 2 years removed, and he already like saying he's gonna be better than Tom Brady. Pump the brakes. That's all I'm saying. That's why I was cheering for the Niners to win, because
right.
You gotta earn it. And you know what? I'll bow down. He came through in the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that today we're recording this on Monday. So today there was a lot of like, oh, the 49ers didn't know the overtime rules. That's just easy hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Clickbait, right? So, listen, you mean to tell me that the Niners, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, didn't prep the smartest players about overtime rules? Of course they did. But as media does, they always look for the dumbest person in the room. No offense to the 49ers fans, but they look for the dumbest player in the room, and they're like, oh, did you know the overtime rules changed after that Allen thing? Oh, no, I was not aware.
I think people and the media look for someone to blame when there's a loss. And it doesn't matter how good of a game you call, how well you executed all game. If you lose, they're going to look to try to pinpoint one specific thing to losing. And losing never comes down to one play or one call or anything like that. There's lots of plays in a football game, right? There's plenty of opportunities for both teams to make plays and, make them when they count, right? And Mahomes does that routinely at the end of ball games when the game's on the line. That's what makes him great. He's able to drive the offense down the field. He's able to keep executing, right? San Francisco, they just didn't execute. One of the highest paid defenses in the league. You couldn't stop them, right, at the end. So you didn't execute. So it's easy to say Kyle should have, taken the ball second, let Kansas City go first. But it's easy to do that Monday, the day after the game, and second guess. But even if Kansas City had the ball first, Mahomes goes down and scores because you didn't execute, you're still going to end up losing, right? So at the end of the day, it's tons of different plays. That game shouldn't even been in the overtime, right? They were up 10 at one point, but that's again just Mahomes' greatness. San Francisco not executing when they're supposed to. Let's not focus on overtime rules. I think that's just low-hanging fruit, like you said, for the media to focus on and give someone.
It's easy.
Fans to be upset about.
It's easy to place blame because to me, if you look at San Francisco, it's not like, except for those two fumbles, and one of them wasn't even, it just happened to hit the other guy's leg. So to me, they stuck to their guns as far as limiting the mistakes to a minimum. Watching the game, I thought Kansas City made a lot of mistakes.
They didn't take advantage of some mistakes that the Chiefs made. There were some plays left out on the table, right? And all of these teams, we can say Kansas City's great. At the end of the day, the teams that are in the playoff are one or two plays away from winning a Super Bowl, right? San Francisco's here in the Super Bowl, but let's look back at their history during the playoffs. They should have lost to Green Bay, right? If it wasn't for Green Bay's quarterback making some stupid throws at the end of the game. They should have lost to Detroit, right? Dan Campbell and his terrible calls, right? And then in this game, they just blew it because they didn't execute. That's how I think close all of these teams are to each other. And it just so happens that Mahomes is the greatest player on the field every time he plays. The dude just, when the game is on the line, that's what makes him great. He doesn't back into a corner. He's not scared. He's able to make plays that other players, other quarterbacks can't. And Andy Reid is a great coach. He knows how to get them, in the right play call. And that's why we're talking about them winning another championship.
Yeah, and not only that, but losing a linebacker the way that the 49ers lost linebacker, that also added a wrinkle to their, to the Kansas City, taking advantage of, the backup linebackers in there. So let's move Mahomes a little bit more. I don't think they were really spy. They had a spy on Mahomes at all through the whole game. And I think this, in overtime in the second half, he took advantage of that, right? Because he figured out, oh wait, there's nobody kind of checking me right at the line. So there was, I think overall they played a good game. I think overall it was probably more entertaining than people thought, because there was a lot of back and forth, lead changes and all that. But, overall, I think it was a good overall game.
It was a good game to watch. Bad football played, though. Yes. That's how I kind of define it. Really bad football, especially the first half. 5 fumbles alone by Kansas City, and then the interception. They were able to recover most of those fumbles, but sloppy play, both sides. 49ers too, just very sloppy, turning the ball over. McCaffrey, fumbling, when they're basically in the red zone. Sloppy football at the beginning. I think they all settled in, played better. But like I said, none of these teams, when you're talking about the playoffs, are perfect. There's flaws, and players need to execute. And whether it's dropping a, should be interception, or taking advantage of a fumble, recovering a fumble, or not recovering it, those are plays you got to make. And it's the combination of all that happens that lead to the outcomes, that we have. So, hey, it was a good game though. First half not so much, but second half for sure, lots of entertainment. Went into overtime, so it was good to watch.
Yeah, it was good to watch, and I think that's why I am kind of bullish on the whole like let's give it to Mahomes because
Mhm.
I feel like this iteration of the Chiefs is not the same iteration that was there in like the early 2019, 2020, like they were high powered offense.
Mhm.
And this version was more of a defensive minded. Let's just not be stupid with the ball. So I feel like they should be thinking about the future. They should be thinking about, hey, if Andy Reid breaks this record, he's probably going to retire, but we're still going to have Mahomes. So it's very strange that they're not like restructuring deals and
Oh,
not
I'm
doing
sure they will.
that.
There's a lot of players that will be free agents that they're going to have to make some decisions on. I think if you look at the team, they were happy with their defense, right? But Chris Jones, I think, is one of the players that his contract is up. They can't bring him back at the price that he's at. They probably want to add some weapons, right, at the receiver position. There's no free agents coming out. I think that's going to help them. So you're talking about addressing it in the draft, probably, or trading for someone. But there's some spots they do need to get better. They need to get younger. But that's why football's great, because it's not easy to repeat. The team you have in 2024 is not going to be the same next year. I think Reed talked about that. There's lots of attrition. Every team goes through it, and you got to figure out when the season kicks off, like how can you get your team into the playoffs and then go from there. That's what it's about. So it's going to look different. But I'm sure they're going to be in the hunt as they always are, or have been in the last few years.
I mean, as long as Pat Mahomes is there, I think they'll be in the hunt. But looking in the future is gonna be a lot harder because San Diego, they have a new coach. It might take a year or two, but I'm sure they're gonna be better. I think Antonio Pierce could be better. I don't know who their quarterback is gonna be, and I think Denver should be better. This is gonna be Peyton's second year, so there's gonna be some competition. Listen, it was almost 10 years before the Patriots won another Super Bowl. They won it in 04, and then they didn't win it again till 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying this is not easy. It's, winning
No,
Super
not at all.
And the fact that I was already listening to Patrick Mahomes talking about if we three-peat this year, that would be awesome. Whoa. Are you just saying that for the fans, or are you saying that because you really believe it? Because
I'm sure he believes it.
I get sometimes I get the feeling that he's saying it just for kicks, for shits and giggles. I don't know. It's like
that's the goal. That's his goal, right? And anything less than that is failing. I'm sure that's how he sees it. But that's going to be the goal. Once he celebrates, and enjoys this one, and the season kicks back off, it's right back into the grind. The goal again is to get to the Super Bowl, right? That is what their standard is now. That's their standard, right? So, we talk about what team standard is. It's not just making the playoffs and getting bounced out. I think of teams like the Steelers, but also other teams like the Bills the last few years. You eventually got to get over the hump, and if you don't, then what are you doing? So his goal is to win.
The Bills, Joe Burrow is gonna be back. So I mean, listen, celebrate now because this is the time to do it. You just won the Super Bowl. Have the parade, all that stuff, but be ready, be vigilant because nobody, at least my opinion on my side, nobody's crowning them the team of the century yet.
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But like I said earlier, the media just loves hyperbole, just lifting them up and just saying, "Hey, this is the greatest team." I'm like, come on, man. We in the same century. We were there when the Patriots were running up and down for the 10s and the 20s. So, listen, I'm a say this as far as the Chiefs are concerned. When they asked Andy Reid at the end of the game, "Hey, how do you feel?" What was, basically, I think they were trying to get him to like be poetic or something. He just said like, "Hey, the defense won it. Let's party." It's like, just keep it simple. That's all you need. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. But I feel like the media is like trying to evoke him to what, and I commend him for that, because he's not playing the games that the media plays. So yeah, that's what I would say. And for San Francisco, I mean, as long as they have Kyle and that nucleus, I see them coming back. I see them like,
We'll see. It's not easy. It's it's gonna get tougher too. But Kyle's been there, right? He's been to the playoffs and made it really far. The team has a strong nucleus. They're they got some things they need to address too, right? So we'll see. They're getting up there. This is their peak, their prime. And their window's probably going to close in the next couple of years or so. Even with a young quarterback like Purdy, you still got some players that are getting up there in age. So, whether they're back, we'll see. We'll see if it happens or not. But I think they'll still be able to compete. Put a team out there that can compete with some of the best teams in the NFL next year.
Was there any player during the game that you, other than Pat Mahomes, that you thought showed up for the other team? I mean, Kelsey, I know that he led in the yards for Kansas City, but I didn't think he was, I didn't think he was awesome like he was against Baltimore.
No. I mean, I thought McCaffrey had a pretty decent game outside of the fumble. I thought there were times in the fourth quarter, I think San Francisco kind of, should have went to him more frequently instead of having relying on Purdy to throw 38, almost 40 times. I thought, for the most part, he had a good game. His average wasn't great, but I think if you keep riding, your player, if you're up 10, you got to lean on the run. You can't keep passing, So, no one. I mean, everyone else, as far as performance, I don't know what happened to Brandon Ayuk right after that first drive. It seemed like he kind of disappeared. And then, with Kansas City, there's no one else besides Kelsey. We've been saying that all season, right? There's no receivers there, and that's what they have to address, I think, for next year and years in the future. They got to figure that out. But it was Mahomes. If he won that game, it was going to be his MVP for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's the reason why they basically won this game, right? He's the best player between the two teams. He was the best quarterback between the two teams, and he even used his feet, which he rarely does. But when he does use his legs, he can make big gains. So, I'm if you're Kansas City, you should be happy because you're basically, I don't want to say eked it out this year, but it was a different team and they still succeeded. So
good for them.
Good for them. Ron, what did you think about Usher's performance? I know this is off topic, but it was part of the halftime show. So what's?
I thought it was okay. I don't see why it received such a good reception. I thought it was all right.
Compared to Rihanna and compared to, I think, the Super Bowl before Rihanna, it was the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's Super Bowl. So
Rihanna's was better. I thought the Snoop one was okay. they brought on too many performers, I think, for that Snoop one. But um, I thought it was okay. I think Usher did his thing. You know, that's all I gotta say. I think they hyped it up a little bit, saying it was like one of the best performances of all time. I didn't see that at all. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good, and I thought that the whole ATL Atlanta guess, it was sort of reminiscent to that Snoop Dogg one where they just brought people from Compton. This time it was ATL, so I see what they were trying to do. I don't think they were as successful as the Dr. Dre one, but it was still good. It was still good. It was very reminiscent, and he did his best song. So, listen, I used to be a Jay-Z lover, then he sold out to the NFL. But ever since he took over the halftime performance, I think every artist has been pretty legit.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is basically our last show of the season. What is it that you want to say to the Steelers fans out there?
Well, you want to go over awards?
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about the awards. I mean, we're gonna go over the awards, but we know that Hamlin got basically cheaped, right? He got stolen from by Flacco.
Yeah, that made no sense. That was the one that was definitely scratching my head. That and maybe this is me just being a little bit biased, but Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year when every single statistic showed that TJ Watt was better than him just confuses me. But just looking through our predictions, I think we were off on. I was off on all of them. It looks like, except for Lamar Jackson winning the MVP. You got McCaffrey winning Offensive Player of the Year, but we missed everything else across the board.
Well, I knew that Kevin Stefanski was getting a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, but I still like Dan Campbell as the Coach of the Year. I'm not, that was the only one. Lamar, he played well during the season. Of course, he crapped the bed in the playoffs. But, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., I mean, the team went to the playoffs, so I can see why. And,
right.
Jalen Carter, he was like a ghost, basically. I don't know what was going on in Philly. So, to me, and we change our predictions right halfway through the year, with some of the players, and even after the change, someone else won. So, I don't want to say this is a popularity contest, but it seems that way, especially with the Joe Flacco thing. I'm like, what's going on here? This is, oh well, he came off his couch. Hamlin came out almost being dead.
Right.
You tell me you don't want to give it to him as a comeback player? That's crazy.
Especially when Flacco was throwing interceptions left and right. You talk about all the touchdowns he's throwing, but when he's throwing equal amount of interceptions, you're not paying any attention to that. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, good for the Texans. Now you got two rookie superstars, one that actually, C.J. Stroud has a lot of potential, and I guess Will Anderson Jr. has a lot of potential. So hey, sky's looking blue for the Texans. And now I just saw something about the Steelers that they're thinking about getting Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't believe the hype. We're definitely in the QB market. We only got one under contract right now, so we just cut Mitch Trubisky today. We had some other players who got cut too, which was expected. Mitch, didn't perform at the end of the day. He was being paid way too much, and he blew a couple games. The 2 games that he came in and played terribly, cost us some wins. and he wasn't reliable. So right now it's just Kenny. I think we're looking for someone, a veteran that will be on the cheap, right? And I don't think this team is going to be necessarily looking to trade for anyone. I think there's plenty of free agent quarterbacks, whether it's Tannehill, which I think is highly likely, or Minshew, or Drew Lock, or one of those type of veterans. I think we're looking at a vet and maybe a late round draft pick to tie up the quarterback room. But it's Kenny's team for sure, without a doubt, in this year. So 2024, it's going to be his team. They'll give him every opportunity to play every single game next year, as long as he stays healthy. And win, lose, or draw, we'll see how he performs. And if he doesn't, perform well, they'll be back in the quarterback hunt again next year, looking for their franchise quarterback.
So the Justin Fields is just a lot of hype. Just a lot
of hype. A lot of hype. It's BS. They're taking advantage of Steelers needing a quarterback. Tomlin having some conversations during pro day with Fields to say, oh, Tomlin really likes Justin Fields. Yeah, he likes Justin Fields. He likes Mahomes too, right? We're not going to trade for Mahomes. So why would we trade away a top pick, especially for Fields? Now, if you were to tell me they're willing to do a trade for Mac Jones, then I can understand that, because I'm guessing Mac Jones is going to only cost you a mid-round pick, a fourth-round pick or something like that. That I can see.
And there has been reported that Mac Jones is available, so I can see that. Yeah. Because it's probably not coming back to the team. Even if he does come back to the team, they don't even want him competing.
And the Steelers know that. So even if we wanted Mac Jones, I don't see them being willing to trade a fourth-round pick or fifth-round pick. They will go really cheap because they value those picks. There's other holes to fill. We got to fill with in the draft. And why would you waste the pick on a quarterback when there's a huge free agency list of serviceable quarterbacks? No franchise guys are out there, but they're serviceable guys that you can just sign right off the street, basically.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be an interesting season. Especially for the Patriots, because we haven't had this kind of season in 24 years. So it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see what they focus on, what they spend the money on, because now you don't have to pay the coach $20 million a year. So you have that extra cash now. So I'm interested to see what happens. I want to see what Elliott Wolf has planned for that whole, for the whole organization. So let's just see. I'm in the wait and see kind of mood. So
right.
I'm not gonna bite and take clickbait or read about possible rumors. I'm gonna wait till the transaction is finalized and then have a say, and then have and then talk about why they did that.
Right.
So I'm just thinking about the future now. We'll do a show pre-draft, and then we'll do another show post-draft. And that pre-draft, we'll have free agent. We'll talk about the free agents, who they signed, blah, 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 who they're thinking about. And then we'll talk about what are they thinking about drafting. In the Patriots case, there's already rumors that they want to move down, and there's already rumors that the Falcons, the Vikings, and another team wants that number 3 spot. So it's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential.
Yeah.
Listen, the season's over. Now we get a break, kind of a mini break. And I'm 100% into the basketball season. I'm not even gonna look at the baseball season. I'm not even gonna I might not even watch any games this summer. I might be just take summer off and not watch any kind of baseball whatsoever. Just completely, just basketball and then jump right into football. I'm not even
Right.
Because as we know, that team is terrible. Hey, listen, I'm glad that Netflix is willing to spend and invest time in this team. Too bad that they're gonna become in last place. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to you, Ron, to give me the updates because I will not waste a minute on this team. Terrible team. And for the listeners out there, I am talking about the Boston Red Sox team. That's the team that will not get my attention this summer. I'm coming out right now and saying it. They will not get my attention. So, yeah. So it should make it, a lot smoother transition from basketball to football again. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to do that. That's how committed I am to the fact that these owners don't care.
Right.
The Patriots owners, they care. The Boston Red Sox owners, I don't know what the hell they're doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, and I know that they, and we're talking baseball now. I know that they brought in Epstein, right? So maybe he has a say in stuff. He's a consultant, so, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he's going to charge him a lot of money? Probably, but doesn't. This team is just.
Yeah. There's no quick fix. It's a long-term, long process to turn that team around. So you're talking 4 or 5 years from now before they're relevant again.
Yeah. I gotta see moves. But yeah. So listen, everyone out there, enjoy springtime. Enjoy Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know when this will be posted, but Happy Valentine's Day. And pretty much, I don't have anything to say. Ron, do you have anything else?
No, man. Thanks for the support. Hope you enjoy the season. Let's do it again next season.
Yes, we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna get excited again. And 0-0, it's everyone's record. So let's be prepared. Let's execute the plays that the coaches are getting paid for. And some are doing it for free, but they're still getting paid. So let's do it. So with that in mind, I'm going to say peace.
Peace.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions or comments, feel free to hit us up on shutyourmouthpodcast@gmail.com. That's shutympodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us on Twitter or on Instagram @SYM Podcast. Thanks again.